You're listening to ChainLeak, the crypto news podcast with your host, Joshua Roomsberg. Follow and subscribe today.
Welcome to the ChainLeak podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Roomsberg. Today's episode is about Twin Protocol, creating your AI twin. Today's guest, the CSO of Twin Protocol, Bill Inman. Welcome to the show, brother.
Joshua, nice to be here. I've seen several of your episodes. I know how exciting and informative the show is, so glad to be on it with you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So give the listeners a quick introduction of Twin Protocol and what you guys are doing for the industry.
Yeah, so Twin Protocol is a very exciting project that was originated in 2022 from a conversation with Ben Goertzel and myself. Some of your listeners might know Ben Goertzel. He's the CEO of SingularityNET, and now recently merged with Fetch and Ocean Protocols to form the ASI Alliance. So it's a spinoff of SingularityNET as an AI and blockchain project that helps people build their own AI twins of themselves so they can do more and be more and really thrive in this super fast, super different AI economy that's absorbing us all.
Okay, now you're talking about an AI twin of yourself. Let's go deeper on that and explain what that truly means to the listeners.
Sure. So I'll kind of, we're a personal decentralized AI company. So what that means is over the past decade or two, we've pretty much given up as internet users, as technology users, we've given up our data to the big tech companies without even really understanding that. Web 1, we logged in with our email. Web 2, we started to log in with the social, like Google, log in with Apple, log in with Facebook. And they're leveraging that data to create LLMs that are worth essentially trillions of dollars. Yeah. So over the past decades, we've just given up that data. And now they're reaping the benefit on their way towards a higher form of artificial intelligence. What Twin Protocol does, it allows individuals to keep their own personal data in their Twin Vault. How do they do that? They upload documents. They talk to their vault, tell them about themselves, add their photos, add their videos, and that creates a vault of them, which they then can share with the world, however they want to permission it, in either an avatar form, an audio form, via our SDK or API, over Slack, etc. So it allows individuals to create their AI twin of themselves to basically share that with the world and make money with that.
By having a decentralized LLM versus a centralized platform for creating these AI models, what would you say is the biggest difference between the two aspects?
Well, blockchain, which is a foundational for Web3, is really a product of decentralization. So over the eons, as citizens, as human beings, we basically centralized ourselves in banks, in schools, in countries, and what have you. And now we're in this movement of decentralization, and blockchain powers that. Obviously, we know that Bitcoin is a form of digital gold, if you will, and it's decentralized itself from the banks. We need to do that with our own data. So every day when we're on the internet and we're logging in with, as I mentioned before, the Googles of Facebook, we're giving away our data. If we're a YouTube creator even, in the terms of service and the ULA, basically, they have the ability to repurpose that data, and they have a worldwide perpetual license to take that data and do whatever they want to do with it. So Decentralizing means coming off of the big brand, centralized platforms, and owning ourselves. That's really a big part of it. So we leverage blockchain. Our Twin Vault is blockchain enabled. It's an IPFS database. You upload a document about yourself. It's there. It's encrypted. It's not stored on a central server. I have some friends that work at some of the big tech centralized companies. They can see all of our data. They have access to all of it whenever they want. You can't do that with blockchain. So what's key here is owning our own data and having the privacy of our own data and having that be immutable so there's a permanent record of it.
Okay. Now let me stop you there. For the conversation between you and Ben Goertzel, can we go a little deeper on that and explain what the conversation was about? What were the ideas flowing, and how we got to the point where Twin Protocol has become what it is today?
Sure. Well, I've been lucky enough to know Ben for a couple of years now, and I've been working with SingularityNET, the company he started in 2017, for some time. And we had just come from an event where we had Sophia the robot's sister, Grace, and we were doing a presentation. Many of your
Okay.
listeners probably know Sophia the robot. She's one of the most famous humanoids in the world.
Yep.
Born in 2015, first robot citizen, been on the Tonight Show. Many of you have spoken in front of the United Nations with Tony Robbins, with celebrities, et cetera, et cetera. So
Yep.
we just came from one of those events, and the conversation started at a burger stand in Manhattan Beach named Simsy's, right by the pier there, for those of you that know LA, about
Okay.
how we could empower individuals to have an opportunity with AI, kind of like Sophia had as well.
Yep.
And Ben's vision for 30 years has been beneficial artificial general intelligence, or AGI. It's the reason that his company had the AGI moniker the whole time.
Yep.
So what we formed in that conversation was, let's allow people to upload their own personal data in the blockchain and make a twin of themselves that they could share with the world. So we went into a lot of the assets that SingularityNET has, the algorithms, the scientists, and we really built from there. And that was 2022.
Okay. Now, me personally, thinking about the AI models and what type of information you would train on, I think about PDF documents, different questions that you wouldn't necessarily want to ask an AI model that is centralized, whether it's giving information or ideas that you just need to capitalize on yourself. You just need them last little details to top the idea off. And you don't want an AI model to steal that idea from you and put it to the general public. I could see a real use for that by having a decentralized model that is specific to me. I like that idea a lot. What types of use cases can you see for a decentralized AI twin?
Well, there's a lot of use cases for a decentralized AI twin. First of all, just starting with owning our own data. So when we upload our PDFs, and I'll give you some stories here in a second of how it's being used. When we upload our PDFs, our documents, or even our audio MP3s and videos to a decentralized server, we own it. We're not putting it up in Google or Facebook, and they're reusing that data to build their language models or their business models. That's step number one. So one of our use cases and how our technology has been used at Twin Protocol is with a very prolific author, Deepak Chopra, who's really well known in the wellness space. So we created digitaldeepak.ai. It's a twin of Deepak. Now he has 97 books. He's 74 years old with 97 books. Very few people have one book. But so we were able to upload his books, and now and about 1,000 or so of his blogs and more info. And you're able to go to digitaldeepak.ai and talk to Deepak, not only in English, Arabic, Hindi, Spanish, and 37 other languages.
And it's trained
so
based off his
case.
books and PDFs?
Exactly. So now that's a really kind of interesting model because he has books. What about the average person, right? The newbie, for example.
Yep.
Most people we're finding at Twin Protocol don't know where to start and don't have information. So we work with individuals to draw that information out. And how that starts is, as individuals interact with other twins, like Deepak Chopra, it starts to educate their own twin brain. And from the knowledge they're gathering from others, it creates enough of a data pool to be able to release a twin of themselves. But we're also analyzing their social media, their social pictures, and so forth.
That's real cool. Now, how does it take the data from social media? Would you have to upload that separately, or is there an API that you can connect your account with?
Yeah, we've been testing internally now, looking at Instagrams, whether they give us permission because they're closed or if they're public, and being able to analyze a picture to say, basically, this person likes to go to the beach a lot, or they always wear purple, or they seem happy because they smile a lot. We can ingest those pictures and that data and turn that into training data for their own personal LLM, if you will. So it's just a matter of scanning a profile or uploading pictures, and that's how that happens. It's really fun and simple.
Okay, because I'm thinking about, as far as Twitter or X, they have a new thing for developers similar to other AI models where it goes based on the amount of words that you gather or receive back when you do an API pull. If you had a way that you could implement pulling from the Twitter or X API and gather information from the last 100 tweets from a user or the last 1,000 tweets. And you could train your model based on that, the way you talk, the way you answer people, the different types of posts you do. I think that could be really unique as well.
Oh, that 100%, Joshua. That's a wonderful source of data. As individuals, we're creating emails and social posts and blog posts. That's a great way to start for anybody to build their own twin. And if you're an influencer or a thought leader or a subject matter expert, you probably have tons of this information. So yes, you're able to. I mean, simply put, today you can just just export all of your social data, upload it into and ingest it into Twin Protocol, and you have it. And so our Twin Persona module allows it to have a first person approach in the personality of the person from their data. And we also can extract your voice, and we're even very quickly moving into photorealistic avatars. It'll pretty much be like you.
That's crazy. So do you guys have the ability to upload a 30 to 60-minute video right now?
Yeah, so what happens with the video and also with MP3s, for example, is we just need to extract the text. It's a large language model, and we are moving into the neural net and neural symbolic AI area, more complicated, more robust area, but it's about extracting the text from that. So what we do is we extract the text from the video, from the audio, turn that into a document, ingest that into a vector database, store all the documents in an IPFS blockchain database, and we're able to get all the data from a video or audio.
So even other AI models that are available on the market today, when they say you can upload a video or an MP3, they're converting that into text themselves?
Yeah, there's certainly the text extraction. That's one aspect of it. Sophisticated computer vision modules, or algorithms, they can look at the entire video, and they can know that if you never said beach in the text, they can know you're at the beach, for example. So that's the advanced version of where we're going with neural nets. But for the most part, it's the language, it's the tone, it's the voice that are being extracted from the video. But we're getting to a point with computer vision where we can take into account everything that's happening.
If I wanted to speak with a twin, does it have to be my specific twin, or could it be anybody else? Do you guys have a marketplace? What would that look like for creating monetization?
Yeah, you bet. So let me give you a couple of examples. Number one, and I've already mentioned it, you can go to digitaldeepak.ai and you can talk to Deepak Chopra in his voice today. So that's one use case. If you're a celebrity, author, what have you, subject matter expert, influencer with a lot of data, that's one. We also have the twin of the CEO of a flooring company, selling carpet, selling linoleum. And well, what's interesting about that? Well, we've uploaded his bio, some ingestion we took just from interviewing him, like one-on-one interviews, and his product catalogs. And now he can sell on his website his own product line in multiple languages. So there's a use case for people that want to sell and don't have the time to. And now you're getting directly your flooring from the CEO. We have another use case.
Let me stop you there. Yeah. Would that be able to answer questions for a potential customer? If I wanted to redo the flooring in my office, would I be able to go to that AI twin and be able to get the answers that I need for finishing the flooring in my office?
100%.
Okay.
So you can ask a question like, what's the best flooring for a cold or warm environment? And maybe it comes back and says bamboo flooring. Yeah. Or I have this much square footage. What's it going to cost? So those are the kind of answers that a twin can, on a one-to-one basis with personality, give.
Yeah, that's really cool, because I think about the different use cases for that when a boss of a company doesn't have time to be taking calls, but your secretary might not have all of the answers and they would have to redirect to you at the end of the day anyway. If you could create an AI twin with all of the answers that potential customers would ask, similar to a frequently asked questions in your website database, and put that into an AI twin model, I think that'd be really unique for the end consumers, and it'd be faster turnaround for getting the answers you need.
No question about that. And one of the key words you said and what you just mentioned is if. Well, now's the time because we're doing it. So it does. There's a couple of stats I want to share with you that are really important about the future here.
Okay.
So 800 million jobs need to be reskilled because of AI by 2030. That's 12% of the global workforce, whether it's automated driving or marketing changing because people use AI to create, scripts and so forth. And then also $15 trillion of new productivity will be added to the world economy. What does that mean? The entire size of the food industry in the world is 15 trillion. The amount of money that goes into food will be new opportunities that people can grab. So by starting your own twin today, whether you're a CEO of a company, an author, or somebody new, it's like the beginning of the internet. You really have the opportunity to capitalize and cash in on the 15 trillion, or wait and be somebody that needs to be reskilled because AI has taken over their job. It's important to act now.
Now, that's another thing you just mentioned about the growth in this sector and automation and AI. They had a strike last week. And I don't know if you mind speaking on this, but me personally, the argument for the strike was they wanted an increase in pay and they wanted to stop automation on these ports. For me personally, I look at that like the increase in pay, that's reasonable, but there's no way to stop the automation from coming. Like they settled for now with a 40 or 50% increase in pay, and they're coming back to the table to discuss the automation. I feel like that was just a Band-Aid on the situation to get them through the rest of the year, because automation's coming and there's no way to change that. You mentioned LA earlier in the conversation, and a couple ports in LA are already automated. They have automated vehicles that drive across the lots and deliver these, put them onto different shipping containers onto, man, I can't think of the word right now. Either
onto the trucks.
Onto the trucks or onto the cargo ships. And it's already automated. It's already here. People are in an office space and they're running everything from a computer and they're just moving. I seen it and it blew my mind. So the automation is not leaving. You have to adjust for the next generation of technology. And it sucks when people lose jobs, but you have to at all times be looking at the next 5 to 10 years of what's going to advance. And AI and automation is only going to advance.
Yeah, the example you use is near and dear to my heart. Number one, my dad worked at the Port of Long Beach. He was a diesel mechanic, and he was part of the union there. Now, that was before the era of AI, barely before the era of PCs. And I have a lot of friends, though. I grew up in the South Bay of Los Angeles and know a lot of people that work at the port who are from San Pedro or Lomita, where I'm from. And I said, hey, Jamie, what's going on down there? He works at the port. And he says there's AI automation that's automating that port. Now, what does that do for the world? It makes goods and services coming from abroad less expensive and helps us to get the products we need. But for my high school friends, not so good. Several dozen of whom work at that port.
Right.
Now, they're still working there. They haven't been fired, but of course they're a little bit scared. Now, it's important to remember that when the car came around, the automobile came around, and Henry Ford revolutionized the entire how industry is done, that there were a lot of people who used to take care of horses to run basically the stagecoaches and things like that. Those jobs went away. Those people transitioned into the automotive industry. And I feel confident, many of these gentlemen and women that work at the ports, they're smart people. I feel confident that if they're impacted, there may be a better opportunity than they have, slaving away down there anyway. So there's optimism and there's fear, and I understand the fear.
That's another thing I think about as well. They might not have a technical background to where they're programming this type of technology, but they may be able to sit at one of these computers and run part of the automation, and they don't have to physically put themselves in harm's way. Unloading these docks and being on the ground level, they could be in an office somewhere and still work for that company, but you have to be able to adjust and see where everything's going. You talked about 15 trillion. I can definitely see it coming for sure.
It's coming, and it's hard to stop, because even in the U.S., if we hold it back with legislation and and rulings, the other countries are not going to stop. And it's going to give them a competitive advantage. And we know in America, and of course this is a global show because anybody can access it, we know that there's a lot of legislation and regulations for good reason. Saves people, helps people live productive
Yeah.
lives, gives people opportunity. But we are going to have to adapt because this is coming whether we like it or not. And today, you don't really have to be smart with AI, especially with Twin Protocol. You just need to be able to educate your twin, and your twin can work for you. So getting ahead of that is like getting ahead of the internet. We all would have done that if we'd known better. We all would have started bookstores like Amazon if we knew now today what we knew then.
When we circle back to Twin Protocol and we look at the different opportunities to have your twin work for you, as you just mentioned, what types of use cases could you see for a twin working for me? If I had my own twin right now, what types of services or tasks could I have it do for me?
Well, I mean, let's start with this episode. So if we created, which we could do, if we created a twin of this episode and ingested just the text from this episode and nothing else, no LLM capabilities, no ingesting the internet, then we could answer questions. People could ask you and I questions from this episode about the knowledge base of this. So that allows us on a show basis to basically create a new model for you, right? Which is basically you created some media. Now it can be interactive, not just a one-way, watch this on your tube or on your screen, but now you can interact with us. And that might be a subscription model. So I'm giving you a business model or two for you and others. If we took your entire catalog and you have some great episodes of everything you've done, now people can really know who you are and you can answer questions from your entire body of knowledge, everything you know. And that could be a subscription model or per access, or you just do it because you want to help the world, whatever the case may be. So all of us are the best in the world at something. Somebody likes to fly kites. He might be the best kite flyer in the world. Electric train operator, baseball card collector, sprinter, bench presser, whatever. You can now educate a twin on that, and you can make money with that knowledge that you don't have to sit around and kick yourself and go, man, I thought of that. I wish I would have taken some action on it. Now's the time to take our own knowledge base and monetize that. So that's business models. Yeah, go ahead, please, Joshua.
No, that was a great example. I'm thinking about the card aspect. I collect cards with my son as well. And I have thousands of cards and I don't know what any of them are worth or what to look for or the highlights or the things to avoid. I'd be willing to pay $1 or $2 a month to access somebody's AI twin that had the answers. What am I supposed to look for? Who are the hot players in each sport? Different things like that. If I don't pay attention to hockey and I don't know who's good in hockey, but my son wants to get some hockey cards, I don't know if we're supposed to be happy or just say, okay, we got some cool ones. Them look cool. But if I knew the value behind each of the players in that sport because of an AI twin for a famous card collector that knew the information to look for, that would be valuable. I'd be willing to pay $1 or $2 a month just to have access to that. So I definitely see that as well.
I mean, first of all, you took me back because I kicked myself because I collected cards as a kid and had the Nolan Ryan rookie cards and Bo Jackson's first year. Oh man, that and Star Wars figures, but I still have my first Macintosh computer, the very first one, and my first iPhone. So I saved that. But so with regards to baseball cards, imagine being able to, first of all, you and your son now could turn your hobby into a revenue generator just because you're so passionate about baseball cards and sharing with your son. You could educate a twin. That could be the twin that people show up with at a show, and they're sitting there looking at our cards going, tell me about the Bobby Bonds 1978 card. Is that valuable? Yeah, that's worth $278. I have 50 #1 comic books from when I was a kid. I did keep those, including like G.I. Joe #1. So if I go to a comic book convention and I see, hey, this is a X-Men number 23. Is this one valuable? Well, yeah, based upon Deadpool and Wolverine movie, that's a hot one. So those are the things that you can do. And this is just being us. So now it's time to monetize us and not just give away data to other people and have them monetize it for us.
That'd be really cool because I also think about the different subscription models for like, say, Twitch or Twitter, different things like that. And I've never subscribed as a paying customer on either of these platforms. But when it comes to AI and being able to ask direct questions and get a direct answer, I think that's more valuable than subscribing to someone for $5 a month just to see their content. If you have that interaction, that's more valuable to me.
It's human-like. And this is what humans are all about, is social connection. And what separates us from the rest of the animals in the world is we communicate. There's a revolution going on. Humans are now talking to AI. That AI is now, the data that we were giving away is now being used to have these conversations. But what's more important is eventually your AI is going to talk to somebody else's AI. So before you go to the baseball card convention, what card, maybe you like Major League Baseball, but you don't like NFL as much, which probably isn't true. I'm sure you probably, maybe you don't like soccer as much. All right, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So you would know, like, you're going to a convention and there's a seller at the conference that has the Nolan Ryan card, and that's what your AI knows you're looking for. Those two AIs could communicate and say, come to booth 742 here in the Los Angeles Convention Center and see me. I've got the card for you. Your AI is always on the lookout for your best interests or educating others for a fee. So we have to get ready for AI and AIs to talk, not just us to talk to AIs. That's so powerful.
That's so crazy.
Crazy.
So nuts. Now, when you think about the integration of AI twins, you mentioned, I forgot his name. You mentioned
Ben Goertzel?
Nope, the guy with the website, the AI website.
Deepak Chopra.
Okay, Deepak. You mentioned Deepak's website. Do you guys have a vision for mobile applications, desktop applications? What would these AI twins look like in the future?
Mobile. So you're basically going, if you so choose, remember, this is blockchain. So the thing about blockchain is that it's encrypted. And by the way, before I got started in this many moons ago, I'm a blockchain and AI patent holder, lucky enough to work with great teams. My previous venture is I started an AI blockchain company for careers, and I sold it to job.com. Wow. So what I loved about that company is that you could store a resume in the blockchain and it's immutable. Like, you know, if somebody's lying on their resume, 70% of resumes are faked, not in blockchain, because you can see it. But also the security access of blockchain is when you upload data about yourself, you own it. It's encrypted. It's spread across multiple servers that really is somewhat unhackable. You know, I'm going to knock on wood because quantum is coming, and that's a totally different beast.
Yeah.
But basically, you're able to secure your information. So you could literally record your day, and then that could educate your twin, and that twin could be going out and shopping for you, or talking to people for you, or talking to other people's LinkedIn pages, for example. It's endless what's possible with this.
Now, you mentioned it would be mobile. When you talk about the integration of blockchain technology and a mobile application for an AI twin, how does the blockchain get integrated into your AI twin? Do you connect a wallet and that's how you verify you are who you say you are?
Yeah, Joshua, that's really perceptive. So our twin vault is a wallet, if you will, but it's a wallet for data, not for crypto. And so it's a wallet where you store your information because information is valuable, just like money is valuable. So it's blockchain enabled, stores your information, allows you to group and permission that information. I want my work information here in this bucket, and I want these people at work to see it. I want my family information in a totally different bucket, and I only want these 5 members of my family to see it. I want to group my life into this other bucket, and anybody can see it after I pass away. So those are the types.
Would that act as 3 different wallets?
No, one wallet with grouped information is how that would work.
Okay, so how do you separate the 3?
You curate first of all, when you ingest information into Twin, you curate it. You may need to edit this, so this isn't really right about me, or I remember it a little bit differently, and then you group it. You take certain documents and you group it into one personality, persona for yourself.
Let me stop you there. I get that on the user interface side. I'm thinking behind the scenes to have different folders. How would you have different folders inside one wallet?
Well, you have a wallet with different document buckets. So basically they're tied, the unique identifier in the hash is tied to a certain twin personality, and that's how you would separate it from the rest.
You mentioned that the AI twins would be mobile accessible. I'm trying to think about the integration of blockchain. Would you have a mobile wallet? Is that what you would sign in and verify who you are for your AI twin? Or is this some different type of application?
Yeah, you have a Twin Vault, which is blockchain enabled. So basically, the information that you upload into the vault is stored in the blockchain, and
Okay.
you can group that information, and the various hashes that come from each document can be stored within a certain group. Your work life, your family life, your hobbies, and so forth. So it allows you to deliver different personas. Like you may have, Joshua, just a persona basically for your podcast, while
Yep.
you might have another persona for your family. You only want your family to see. It allows you to permission certain information for people based upon these personas that you've built.
Now,
Now
how would
that
they, let me stop you there. How would they
yeah.
gain access to that particular folder?
So
Would I,
you would permission, they wouldn't see a folder on the outside world. They would see a persona of you. So they would log into your instance, like we have digitaldeepak.ai. You can log in there and talk to Deepak Chopra. They would log into your instance, let's say joshua.ai or whatever it might be, and they would be able to access, depending upon their login, which you would permission with an email, they'd be able to access certain personas for you. Maybe somebody in your family could see your work, hobbies, and your family stuff. Somebody at work, you'd permission only they can see work. Somebody at work might see, man, an editor might only see one project. So you would permission how those personas are grouped.
and a subscriber would only see the podcast if I wanted it that way.
100%.
No, okay.
That might be your public persona that we wrap e-commerce around. And when they log in, maybe they get 5 free questions they can ask you. Then they got to either have a subscription or buy points to ask you questions.
Okay.
Now, one thing, Joshua, which you might do as a creator is that you might allow the users from the questions they ask you to build their own brain. So they ask you about technology, they ask you 100 questions that can build their own knowledge base or not.
That would be cool for sure.
Yeah.
Because I've been thinking about different things like that as well. With the podcast, I'm going on 60 or 65 different episodes now of interviewing different powerful people in the blockchain industry. And there's a lot of information that I've gathered over the last 5-6 years from talking to different developers and co-founders of different projects. So there's a lot of information just floating around up here that I started the podcast because I wanted to give back with all of the information I have. I want to give back to people and help them understand and learn about this new transition in technology. So for having an AI twin, I think that's going to be a really unique way to give back to my community for sure.
Well, I'm here to tell you you could do more, and it's not going to take you any more effort. If we just take that information and educate your twin, now you can speak to people in Arabic. Now you can speak to people in Hindi, in Italian, in French. You can't do that today. They'd have to translate your videos. First of all, they'd have to find a certain piece of knowledge. And by the way, a lot of episodes. Congrats on that. That's a good run.
Thank you.
They might have to find episode 32, the 20-minute mark, and that might be how are they going to do that? Now they can just ask you and your twin, and you can tell them what the information is in Arabic, in Hindi, in Spanish.
And that's another thing. Like I've focused my time on gathering information and not training myself on other languages. So to have the ability to translate and give my information in other languages, I think that's really unique as well.
I think you have to do it. I think you got into this because you want to help people. Let's help as many people as you can. And you just got to get the information out there. There's people in other countries who would watch your podcast and maybe it inspires them to create their own twin or start their own tech company or just be happier and healthier. Yeah. So it's almost a responsibility.
Yeah, no, for sure. So going back to Singularity's founder, Ben Goertzel, what do you feel is his role in Twin Protocol moving forward?
Well, Ben's a wonderful person. I mean, you talk about brilliant in all the standard terms of it, but he's also a fantastic family man, and he's a good friend, and he's emotionally intelligent. You don't see all those rolled up into one person very often. He's a great showman. He's a great keyboard player in the band with a robot called Desdemona's Dream, which is another sister of Sophia. So Ben is who we go to when we need support on key AI decisions. He's our chief AI advisor. But also, we are linked into the SingularityNET group and army of PhD AI scientists who are helping us build the algorithms to build the best twin persona. So we're really working really deeply with SingularityNET. And Ben, I talk to on a weekly, sometimes daily basis. and doing some great things, leveraging his vision.
Okay, great. Are there any intersections of the two with Twin Protocol and SingularityNET?
Absolutely. I mentioned before, what AI is in its simplistic form is compute power, algorithms, and training data. So ChatGPT 3.0, the one we really started using heavily, that's 460 gigabytes of data. It's not much. You might have
Right.
photo and video cards around the house that are bigger than that.
Yeah.
So we're really leveraging SingularityNet. We're bringing the training data in from us as individuals. We're leveraging the algorithms of SingularityNet to have the most powerful twin system in the world. That's really the key of how we're working with them. And now also working on compute power solutions with SingularityNet to round it all out.
Okay. Now, another aspect that I just thought about, you guys might have already thought about this, but in the future, could you see a twin protocol AI twin integrated into a robot like Sophia?
Well, to a degree, Sophia already has that, right? She already has her proprietary AI system and she operates off that. And that's what powers her interactions. The thing about creating your twin vault is that it's not about a photorealistic avatar, robot, hologram, whatever the case may be. It's all of the above. Once you train your twin vault on you, you can take that through an API to an app. You can take that through an SDK and create your own app. You can take it to a hologram, which they have today, of you, or of another persona of you. By the way, you don't have to just train about you. You can come up with the best with Bobby, the best baseball card collector that the world's ever seen. Doesn't have to be you. So for
Right.
people who are shy or they're insecure or they're not outgoing, perfect. So you can also take it to a robot. So the future is us projected across all these mediums, just like previously there was just radio, and then there was TV, and then there was movies, and then the internet, in that fashion.
Because I'm thinking about 10, 20 years down the road when we have robots inside of our houses, whether they are cleaning or vacuuming or they are the new personal computers. If I wanted to train my assistant robot that's in my house that I just paid 20 grand for, am I going to be able to train that on my personalized information? Could you see that possibility in the future to where we could tie our twin API into the programming software of that robot to where it has all the information we need?
Yes. And by the way, we're going to see robots in our houses much earlier than 10 years. It's just in the next couple of years that's happening. And eventually that'll be scaled to where, they'll be doing our laundry and everything like that. But
Yep.
you can and would have a representation of you as scary as it seems, right? For a lot of people, they're like, no, that's Star Trek or Star Wars. Well,
Right.
it's Earth and it's happening now. So a robot is definitely a user interface that's coming for our twin vault. Our twin vault will populate the brain of that robot.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's sick. Because I think about all of these different types of technology advancements where you just mentioned other people would get scared of it. I get excited about this stuff because as long as you have an understanding and you know how to use the new technology as it advances, you can't get left behind.
You can't get left behind. Many of us have been left behind from the internet. Joshua, you're creating this show. You're taking advantage of the internet, right? That's
Yep.
you being entrepreneurial. Everybody has that. It's a level playing field with AI now. And whether it's a robot or just creating an AI that can advise people on baseball cards, it's wide open. There's nobody there. So now's the time to create your quote unquote Amazon bookstore of 1998 today.
Yeah. Okay. So to close out the interview today, give us a future outlook for AI and blockchain technology over the next 5 years.
Well, first of all, AI is already making massive impacts around the world today. Maybe you're not seeing it. I went to a Buffalo Bills game recently. I didn't see a lot of AI there, but that's coming. So you're going to see AI as serving you at restaurants as the waiter, or taking an order for you somewhere. McDonald's already uses AI boxes inside of their order taking. You're going to see AI everywhere in 5 years, and it probably will be nearly the intelligence of a human. You may be able to talk to AIs and have a conversation with it without it being programmed by an LLM. It might be intelligent. So that's happening. 10 years from now, we may reach artificial super intelligence where AI is as smart as everybody on the planet. So I'm not going to go there. But right now, the 5 years from now, AI is everywhere. People who understood it, took advantage of it, got involved at the ground floor level will be doing as well as the people who got involved with the internet and stuck with it, or the people who got involved with social media and stuck with it. So it's a tremendous opportunity today to take advantage of the 15 trillion that's going to be created from productivity in the next 5 years.
That's great. Now, one last thing before we go. When will end users be able to create their own AI twin?
Right now, like with Deepak Chopra, a well-known author, we're curating twins for people like that. We just launched Kool in the Gang. You know the song Celebrate and Get Down on It and Ladies Night. They have a tremendous following. We just launched their twin. They launched a female empowerment twin called First Lady, and we're excited about that. So we're curating for Kool in the Gang and Deepak. But what we have coming this quarter within 60 days is the self-service twin. You log in, you upload your documents, you record your voice, you take video of your face, boom, you got your twin. So we're just a few short months from having that for the world.
All right, great. This has been Twin Protocol, creating your AI twin with Bill Inman. Thank you for being here, brother.
Thanks for having me on ChainLeak. It's been a pleasure.
The Crypto News Podcast with your host, Joshua Roomsberg. Follow and subscribe today.